Hi everyone, I'm Yang Yang. Welcome to Tea House, China Radio International's online video talk show. We hope to provide you with a platform to foster communication for a better world, and also hope you enjoy the ideas shared on Tea House. Many people dream of the perfect wedding day, especially women. But are you ready for marriage? Do you know what goes into making a wedding ceremony wonderful? Today, we're talking with wedding and event planner Elizabeth Hanley at her salon. She has a unique perspective on planning for wedding ceremonies. Previously, she worked at the White House as social secretary and residence manager to the Vice President of the United States. First, let's take a look at a short video to learn more about Elizabeth Hanley.
Elizabeth Heinl came to Beijing after 8 years working at the White House as the Social Secretary and Residence Manager to the Vice President of the United States. As Residence Manager, she was also responsible for running the official residence of the Vice President. Over the years, Elizabeth has planned cultural events in Asia, Europe and the Middle East. Prior to working at the White House, Elizabeth served as an aide to former U.S. Secretary of Commerce Barbara Hackman Franklin, whose portfolio included global trade issues and involved working closely with China. Elizabeth joined Barbara Franklin Enterprises after planning events at Capitol Hill for a member of the U.S. House of Representatives. She's also the founder and president of Peridona Weddings, Lifestyle and Events, a consulting company focusing on custom weddings, social events and design. Perido Paper, a subsidy of Peridona Weddings, Lifestyle and Events, is the award-winning gift-giving and gift-wrapping company Elizabeth founded in 2003. A native of North Carolina, Elizabeth now lives in China with her husband Paul, director of the Carnegie Tsinghua Center for Global Policy. They have one son, Thomas, who was born in the Chinese Year of the Tiger last year in their hometown of Beijing.
Hi Liz, welcome back to Tea House again.
Thanks, Yang Yang, for having me.
I know that from our last meeting, you have been fascinated about Chinese tea, and you prepared some specialty for me today, right?
That's right. Last time you were so gracious to give me tea, and so I'm happy today to present to you one of my favorite teas. This is from Songfang in Shanghai. My friend Florence blended this tea for us, and it's a nice combination of French and Chinese teas, and so it has a hint of orange in it. I hope you'll like it.
Okay, thank you.
I'll pour you a little here. Do you take cream and sugar with your tea?
Okay, I got some sugar.
Okay. Add a little too.
Well, Liz, as a wedding planner, what is your understanding of love and marriage?
Well, I don't think because I'm a wedding expert that I'm a marriage and love expert, but certainly I am married and I speak with a lot of people as they're getting ready to embark on being one of the most exciting decisions they'll make in their life, which is choosing their partner for life. And I would just say that in the West we exchange vows, and I believe that love and marriage is finding the right lifetime partner that you will love and honor and respect in sickness and in health till death do you part.
What characteristics should people look for in person before they get married?
Oh, I think that depends on the individual. I certainly believe that finding the right partner, like the old saying a little bit, like sometimes you just know it's right and it's a right fit for you. But I think that one of the things I say to a lot of the couples that are about to get married, that you don't have to rush into being married. You should really take your time to get to know one another as individuals and make sure it's a good fit. It is a lifelong commitment, so it's not something that should be entered into lightly or rushed into, or there should never be a time commitment placed on when one should be married. So it really is up to that individual and what is right for them, and bringing on a lifetime partner is a big commitment, and one that's most rewarding, I should add.
And what questions should men and women ask themselves and each other before getting married?
Well, I think that's a very good question, Yang Yang. I think that one has to be very comfortable with who they are as individuals before they can take on a partnership as important as a marriage. Because if you think about it, if you're insecure with yourself or you're insecure with where you are in life as an individual, it makes it very hard to be open to finding the person who will ultimately complement you. I think a partner marriage hinges really on finding the person who's going to make you better, but not complete you, support you, make you happy, make you a more fulfilled person in a different way. But it certainly isn't the person who completes you in the sense of, I'm now someone else because I've been married or I'm getting married.
What was it like when your husband, Paul Henley, proposed to you?
Oh, it was a wonderful experience, a complete surprise, and one that was very well orchestrated and thought out by my husband and all of my family. I was actually having the last party of the holiday season at the Vice President's residence, which is a very stressful time for me as the social secretary to have to pull all of that together. And on that particular night Paul proposed, my family was there and his family, and he gave me his great-grandmother's diamond ring from 1893 that had been handed down through his family. And there was nothing that one could buy at a store that would be as memorable and as special to me as the diamond he gave me. And he took me back to the place to propose where we had gone on our first date, which included where my grandfather is memorialized at the Washington, D.C. World War II Memorial. So when the car pulled up, I thought he had made a wrong turn, and I was really kind of annoyed with him. I wanted to go see my family and his family. He had said, no, let's make a quick stop here at the World War II Memorial and say hello to your grandfather. And so I just said, I don't think we have time for this. And slowly it dawned on me that there was something special about us going there that night, and that he had something planned for me. And he got down on one knee right at the place where he and I had spent our first date and asked me to spend the rest of my life with him. So I cried first, and then he said, oh, you still haven't said yes. And so I immediately said yes, looked down, and saw that he had in a Chinese box, because China had been so important in our dating, he had put the ring in a small Chinese silk box, and inside was this beautiful special ring. And I eventually said yes once I caught my breath again. That was our story.
Why did you say that China plays an important part in your dating?
Well, I met Paul. He was soon to become the White House China director. And so he had lived here twice before. He speaks the language. He's very fond of the people of China. I had been with the Vice President in 2003 to help set up his visit here, and I was very interested in China. So it just seemed like a synergy for he and I, something of common ground. And when I first met Paul, I happened to be wearing a Chinese blouse with Chinese characters, and I actually asked him to translate some of the characters on my blouse, which he enjoyed doing. And so as we dated, we decided to take a get-to-know-you trip to China in 2006, and we went from Sichuanbana to Guilin to Jiuzhaigou, and really got to know each other on that trip and fell in love with China together again.
And your son, little Thomas, was also born in China.
That's right. We made the decision to move here before I even knew I was pregnant. And once we decided that Thomas was coming, we would try to see if we could possibly have Thomas at a hospital here in Beijing, and we did.
Wow. Okay, let's have some tea.
Oh, great. Hope you like it.
The most important thing that joined our two countries are trade and economic ties.
We should move towards finding win-win solutions.
Build a bridge through drinking some real nice Chinese tea.
Oh, I could kill for a nice cup of tea.
I know that there are many things that need to be prepared before getting married. There is a question coming to my mind. Should a couple get the paperwork out of the way first before they getting married, or vice versa?
Sure. Well, in China, unlike in the West, there is paperwork depending on where your hukou is. And so, yes, you do want to get that paperwork taken care of before you actually have the ceremony.
And what are your tips for the bride and the bridegrooms when they are selecting rings?
Oh, sure. Well, I think first of all, in the West, the way we do it is typically we have a family jeweler or a brand jeweler that we know and like and trust their quality very much. I think that's very relatable here in China. So if you have a family jeweler that you've been buying from, say, perhaps your mother and grandmother has used for many years, I would say start there first, because you know you can trust their word. There are so many people who say that if you're buying a diamond that they have the best quality diamonds. But in China, it's a growing industry. So Tiffany, Cartier, a lot of the big brands are here, but you're going to pay big prices for those Western brand names. But I think there's a way to find good quality diamonds here, but what you want to do is read up a little bit on the quality and the clarity and know what your price point is before going in to actually make the purchase. But in China, there's more regulations now coming along to certify quality diamonds, and we actually help our clients navigate that process too, because it's really something that's just coming about in China, and I think it's very important. You want to know that you're getting a good quality diamond.
Every woman dreams of looking like a princess at her wedding. How should brides go about choosing their wedding dress?
Sure. Well, I think there are two decisions that Chinese brides are now making. To be that princess would require maybe a white fairy tale-like dress. But I also say, for our clients, honor the traditions of the mother and the grandmother and wear the red qipao. There are so many beautiful white Western wedding dresses made in China now, and we help our clients navigate the many choices. They don't all need to come from the West. Truly, there are beautiful designs. I think of one designer that comes to mind. Last week I was just at Guopei's fashion show for brides, and she makes beautiful designs. And there are many other people making dresses throughout China. So the selection for white Western dresses is here in China, and we help our clients purchase those, select the right one for them. And then of course the red qipao, you can get those everywhere in China, and we encourage young women to still wear that red qipao to honor their heritage.
Then how about attire for the grooms?
So there are so many custom tailors here in China that it's wonderful. As a groom, you can have 3 or 4 outfits made for yourself. Just like the bride might change 3 times, we've had grooms as clients that have also gotten married in one outfit, then he might change into something more zippy or snazzy for the banquet reception. So it's certainly an option to do that very easily, and to have them custom made to the groom's style, and then you get to keep them. In the West, you often rent groom's attire. But here in China, it's quite easy to have those things. So it's really the reverse. In China, many brides rent white wedding dresses, but we encourage them to buy them here. And in the West, the groom might typically rent his attire, and in China, it's customary for the groom to actually purchase. Yes. A little flipped in the traditions between the West and China.
Because in China, men can wear the suit in daily life.
That's right.
But for women, it's hard.
Right. Well, the reason we encourage Chinese brides to purchase their white gown is because if it's custom, if it's truly custom for that bride, then it's a one of a kind, and that's very special. And we in the West see the beauty of keeping that dress, and perhaps the daughter might want to eventually wear it one day. But it's such a special day, and I think it deserves a special custom dress.
So when do you think they can wear it again? Maybe the 10-year wedding ceremony or some other time?
I will tell you, I started this tradition, and a lot of my brides have followed suit. I was married in my dress, and that was at a destination wedding, and then I wore it again for 2 other receptions, one in my hometown and one in Paul's hometown. So I wore my dress 3 times before I put it away for storage. And yes, maybe if I'm still slender and fit on our 5th or 10th year wedding anniversary, I'd love to wear it again.
Oh, then what else should we prepare before getting married?
So if you're thinking about the commitment and personally deciding if this is right for you, I think it's really, again, the 2 people spend a lot of time making sure that this is the right decision. and that they're both comfortable and that they're both partners. I think love, respect, and trust is something that doesn't come easily, and marriage doesn't put a golden banner over it that says this is a done deal. It means that you constantly have to work at it. You grow together, and you have to see not just the wedding, but you have to look 50 years, 75 years down the road, God willing, that you still together. And so I think that's one of the things that you just have to really take the long look at. It's not just about the pretty fairy tale, but it is a lifelong commitment.
Yeah, so when people made the lifelong commitment, and then what makes a wonderful wedding ceremony? Let's have another cup of tea and then talk about it.
Sure.
The most important thing that joined our two countries are trade and economic ties.
We should move towards finding win-win solutions.
Build a bridge through drinking some real nice Chinese tea.
Oh, I could kill for a nice cup of tea.
Well, Liz, we just talked about that when people decided to be lifelong partners and they wanted to hold a ceremony to tell their relatives and their friends they're going to be together.
Right.
And what procedures of the wedding ceremony that you have to plan?
We do a little bit of everything. We very much are what I call A to Z planning. So that's taking every aspect from the beginning. We often help couples get engaged. We help them make the announcements to their families and to their friends, and then we plan all the way up to even the honeymoon. So we really do custom packages for our clients that can be as small as designing a gift for them and for their guest, or to do just pieces of it. Some people want us to just help with the overall look of their banquet and ceremony, and some people want us to help, just with the honeymoon. So I think it varies, and it depends on each client. We take a look at many things with them, and then ultimately we decide sort of the right partnership for us and our client.
During the wedding ceremony, which part do you think is the most memorable and important part?
Oh, I think that's an easy question, Yang. It's definitely reciting the vows, watching two people who love one another commit to each other, not just for today, but like I said, that long-term commitment. And it's a very serious vow that two people exchange, and then of course topped off by "You may now kiss the bride." That's my favorite part, because then everybody cheers. And it's the start of what we hope to be a great life together.
You have helped to hold many wedding ceremonies, and which one touched you most?
Well, I would have to say my own. Paul and I planned a very unique wedding where we really honored our ancestors, and we traced back, starting with the beautiful ring he gave me through his ancestors and through some of mine. And we made it very personal. We only had 60 people actually attend our ceremony, and I think that blows a lot of my clients away when they say, only 60 people. And I say yes, because Paul and I really wanted closest family and our closest friends and to be with us during that very special time. And we made it a week-long celebration, and it really became a vacation for us and a time for us to share very close, intimately with our family and friends. And then we had big parties. But most of my clients now say, oh, the bigger the better. But, sometimes when you're planning so big that you lose some of those intimate details. And I remember very specifically, because Paul and I only had 60 people at our wedding, that I was really, truly able to spend time with each one of our guests. And that is a memory that will stay with me and with Paul for the rest of our lives.
Oh, so memorable and touching. Well, Liz, many people are worried about they can't afford for the wedding ceremony that you have to plan. What would you say for that?
I say be not discouraged. I think it has to do more with what the brides and grooms are looking for. We do a lot of custom original work. We work with hotels, we work with venues outside. So it really just depends on what the budget is, and we do small packages and very grand packages. So I say if you want a little bit of the Elizabeth Hanley wedding experience, come talk with us and we'll see if we can find a way to work together to have some imprint of what we do, which we think is very special on your wedding day.
What are some of the new trends of wedding celebration?
Sure, I think in China, everything could be almost a new trend if it represents something from the West, whether it's bringing in a luxury bus for the bridal couple to invite their friends and family to go from the hotel to the wedding venue. We are doing a lot with custom luxury buses now. Of course, we've had a client request a helicopter, but even the smallest trends from the West, we work a lot with fabulous cake bakers. People are actually starting to enjoy eating the cake at their wedding reception. So we have identified great cake making. We do a lot with custom invitations, custom gifts, and really do one-of-a-kind experiences. In fact, we're doing a wedding upcoming in the fall at Dao where we will have dancing at Dao and a DJ and a jazz singer, and I think that's really exciting. To see that maybe this is the first wedding where there's been dancing at Dao.
Maybe in the future you can teach us how to packing some present for wedding ceremony.
Absolutely, we feel packaging and gift giving at weddings is so special and really should fit the style of the rest of the wedding. So if you have colors that you've already selected for your wedding, you should also coordinate that with the gift favors you give to your guests. And we have a packaging company that's been around now for 10 years called Peridot Paper, and we custom design packaging for our wedding clients.
Okay, I'm looking forward to see you again to talk about honeymoon and packaging.
Oh, great. I'll look forward to it.
Thank you so much for joining our program, Liz. Dear audience, do you enjoy the show? Have you learned anything from Elizabeth Hanley? If you want to know more about wedding planning, please follow our program online at www.crienglish.com. We will bring you more interesting programs in the near future. I'm Yang Yang. See you next time.